Now we are taking the second part of deontological ethics, and which is called as Rawls contractualism. Now, this theory was propounded by John Rawls. He was an American philosopher. Now, for our purpose, Rawls contractualism, this theory, we can crudely say that this is approximately equal to theory of justice. Actually, theory of justice was propounded by John Rawls, and Rawls contractualism is a part of that only. It is related to this. So, if in our examination by chance the word theory of justice comes, then you must remember that it is almost similar to Rawls contractualism. Okay, so no need to bother there. Rawls contractualism or Rawls theory of justice is one and the same thing. Okay, now one and the same thing from our purposes, because we are studying ethics not deeply, only briefly for our ethics and value part of profession. Okay, now what this theory is saying, we have to understand. So as per this theory, moral obligations or principles are to be decided by mutual contract, etc. Okay, so this is a very last statement. First of all, we have to understand that it is a part of deontological ethics. Deontological ethics was saying for action to be ethical, inherent quality of action must be good. From how we'll decide that inherent quality are good? So there are two theories. Immanuel Kant theory was saying that there are certain moral obligations which flow from reason. So same thing here, Rawls contractualism is also saying that there are also some moral obligation or principle. So only when moral obligations are satisfied, then your action will have inherent good quality and your action will be ethical. But the difference between Immanuel Kant theory and John Rawls theory is that Immanuel Kant was saying that your moral obligation flow from reason, and he propounded two further dimensions. What were that? That the one principle that must be followed is humanity principle, another one is universal principle. Here the difference is that John Rawls is saying that these moral obligations are not flowing from reason, but they are decided by mutual contract. This is most important thing. They are decided by mutual contract. Contract simply means a legal binding term, and mutually deciding matlab everyone present there are agreeing with that term. Okay, so mutual contract of whom? Of everyone in the society. So if you want to decide your moral obligation, if you want to set your moral obligation, then there must be some mutual contract of everyone within the society. But further he is saying something. Mutual contract of everyone, if and only if everyone were to be unbiased. Everyone must be unbiased. Only then mutual contract will have some meaning. Okay, this we have to understand clearly. Further, that is people sitting behind the, here V is missing, people sitting behind the wheel of ignorance. Now what is mean by this wheel of ignorance? How unbiased? We have to understand. We have understand till now up to the term mutual contract of everyone. Everyone must be present. They will decide the contract. Now, obviously, if you want to set your moral obligations to decide your ethical conduct or unethical conduct, everyone who are involved in the contract must be unbiased. If they will remain biased, then obviously your moral obligations will carry no value. So to make all the people involved unbiased, John Rawls is saying some hypothetical term. What he is saying that people, that is everyone should sit behind wheel of ignorance. Okay, now if we go by simple English term wheel of ignorance, then what is mean by wheel? Will simply we can say related to curtain. Okay, a curtain. So there is a curtain behind which I am sitting. So if there is curtain in front of me, I will not be able to see everything. Okay, so this is what wheel is, will carry the meaning here. But here is the wheel of ignorance. This we have to understand. This is a wheel of ignorance. So ignorance to what? This is explained in the second term. Okay, so what is the second statement? The wheel of ignorance means that people making decisions are not aware of their own identities, are not aware of their own identities, and hence personal self-interest or class interest do not affect decisions. Now understand this properly. There must be mutual contract of everyone, but in society, if you talk about everyone, then in that everyone, some will be rich, some will be poor, some will be from higher caste, some will be from lower caste, some will be from one region, some from another region, some belong to one religion to other religion, and so on. So if such type of variety of people are there who are deciding the contract, then some people will dominate over the other, and there will always remain some biases. To remove that biases, John Rawls is saying that some hypothetical thing, that they are sitting behind the wheel of ignorance and they are ignorant about what? So we can say they are ignorant about their own identity. That is, I am deciding the contract, but I do not know in which religion I belong to, in which region I belong to, I belong to which caste, which class, I am rich or poor, I don't know about this thing. So if such thing is happening, then everyone will automatically remain equal. And when they will decide the contract, then obviously that contract will have the actual worthy some moral obligation, which we can apply to decide your ethical or unethical conduct. This is what John Rawls is saying. Okay, so I hope now you have understood about the John Rawls contractualism theory. Simple theory, only the terms we have to understand. There are moral obligations, from where it will follow, from the mutual contract of everyone, and everyone must be unbiased. How they will remain unbiased? When they are sitting behind the wheel of ignorance. What is mean by wheel of ignorance? That is, they are not aware of their own identities. Very simple. Only this we have to understand, nothing less, nothing more. Okay, so this was the second part of deontological ethics. So just revising our table, we were studying the normative ethics branch of ethics. We have already covered virtue ethics. Now we were discussing the deontological ethics. Deontological ethics was saying that your inherent quality of action must be good. If this is good, then your action will be ethical. Now, two further theories were there. One was Kant's theory and the other one was Rawls' theory. Kant was saying that moral obligation will follow from the reason and two principles must be satisfied. The one was universal, second was your humanity principle. Now Rawls is saying that the moral obligation will follow from contract by everyone, unbiased, and do not know their identity. This was deontological. Now we'll move on to the third branch of normative ethics. The third branch is teleological ethics. And in teleological ethics, further there are three types: utilitarianism, ethical egoism, and state consequentialism. And further, utilitarianism has two parts: act utilitarianism and rule utilitarianism. So now we will go to the third part, that is teleological ethics. Thank you.